Christmas could come early for the Bay State's governor and other top state officials as a panel has recommended pay increases. Governor-elect Charlie Baker says no way. What do you think? Way?
We want to hire talented people, and I think they should be paid appropriately.
So you see having more competitive salaries as a good thing?
Absolutely.
No. They make way too much of this.
They've done a good job and they deserve the raise considering how much the city has grown.
No, not right now. I think we got a lot more stuff to do and a lot more things that could be accomplished.
If they are doing the work that they're supposed to, why not?
What about the timing of it? Should it happen right now?
No.
It should wait for the new governor?
Yes.
Okay, the new governor says he's against it.
Oh, let's have Patrick do it.
Get it done now.
Yeah, let's get it done now.
Would it surprise you that some of these state officials would rather it happen sooner than later?
I wish I were surprised.
That's our launching point for our discussion this morning. Let me introduce the roundtable to you. Democrat Marianne Marsh is with us, and Republican Patrick Griffin is with us as well. And let me just point out, this may be the first time they've had matching outfits, his tie and her jacket.
That's right.
They agree on something before the show even starts.
And they didn't even coordinate. That's the thing that's most amazing. Okay, here is the ultimate unfair question of the year. When was the last time you got a pay hike? And do you think it's fair to have to wait 14 years and still be denied another one?
You talking to me?
Yes, I am.
Look, it is a ridiculous thing to have a $325 million budget deficit and have these folks actually cowardly suggest but issue silly statements and not really get behind this. Of course they want a pay raise. Do they deserve one? No. That's not what happens in the dreaded private sector. It shouldn't happen on Beacon Hill.
We're talking less than $1 million, and there are 2,000 people in state government that make more than the governor.
Timing's everything in life, politics and raises. And the timing is not now when you're asking for local aid cuts from constituents who are going to get those cuts. And oh, by the way, those constituents probably haven't had pay raises either.
And aren't they dying for a pay raise, yes or no?
Of course, but it's timing. Bad timing. You can't do it
But
now.
there's also something to be said, Ed, and I know this is not good box office, but look, a citizens' legislature, something to be said for it. It shouldn't be a career.
Okay, meanwhile, none of the legislative leaders would show their faces to comment on these proposed pay hikes. Instead, they're putting out sort of these bland, non-committal statements. As you say, they are dying for a pay raise, but in the end, do you think that they will not have the courage to do this?
I don't see how they can. I don't see it now. Not with a budget deficit, not with folks who don't get those raises.
No courage, no raise, not now.
Let's talk about he's not Senate President yet, but Stanley Rosenberg is mired in a controversy. The alleged antics of his 27-year-old significant other, Brian Hefner, forced the 65-year-old senator to send a letter to his colleagues promising a firewall between his personal life and Beacon Hill business. Question, Marianne, could Hefner tank Rosenberg's career?
Hefner's hurt his career at this point. I mean, Stan Rosenberg orchestrated a bloodless coup, lining up all the votes to become the next Senate president months ago. And now the story erupts just weeks before the vote. If nothing else comes out, he's probably fine. But if there are other revelations, then I think it becomes very difficult and puts it in doubt.
Patrick, read the political tea leaves.
I think it speaks to Mr. Hefner's immaturity. This is incredibly immature to put his partner in this position. I do think that Senator Rosenberg did a good job trying to quell this. The interview with the Globe, at least getting out in front of it or trying to. I don't know, though. I think he still could have some real problems.
Bruce Tarr, who is the Senate Republican leader, would like to make hay and says that he's troubled by all of this, but even he admits that with no real alternative, that it's unlikely that Rosenberg will lose the vote in January. I spoke to Stephen Brewer this past week, and he was running for the Senate president, realized he didn't have the votes, he stopped, and then as a result of that, he is no longer going to be a Senate next year. Did he make a major mistake here?
Well, look, the comments of all of the Senate colleagues, whether Democrats or Republicans, publicly have been very positive. Behind the scenes, not so much. And I think, again, if there's any other shoes to fall, it's going to be tough.
We agree.
Shocking.
At that moment, see, same outfit and they agree. We continue on the record. Stay with us.